and welcome to Janet being Janet. Okay, so today I'm going to react to a video that Miss Kitey did about Blake's attorney. And it just so happened I got just a little bit through it and I started hearing her talk about politics, and I was like, all right, this is going to be a long form one. I know a lot of people are getting to where they don't like me doing the videos like this. I try to sometimes bring them to you when they're cut up, and there's some of y'all that enjoy the long form. So I'm just going to do a mixture of both. We're going to see if this can hold our attention or anything like that for the entire time. I'm not making no promises, things like this. I like to just be blindsided by. All right, guys, here we go. Yeah, and you haven't done that already, go ahead and hit subscribe. You can like it, you can dislike it, however you want. I do not get offended by anything, and you can turn that bell to all.
Hi, besties. It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel, Blake.
Hey, they're going to your channel through my channel, which I greatly appreciate.
Lively's attorney, Meryl Gavrnsky, has quit the law firm that she's been working at since.
So she quit the law firm, she didn't quit Blake? Because I thought that's what your title of this was.
At least 2023, and has joined a new firm. And she has pulled out of a case that she was co-leading with Michael Gottlieb in a case between Drake and Kendrick Lamar.
What does that have to do with Blake? I mean, it's a question. What does it have to do with Blake? Just because she pulled out of one doesn't mean she pulled out of hers.
Where Drake is suing Kendrick for defamation along with UMG. And as of
You know all about defamation now, don't you, Miss Kitey?
today, Gavrnsky is going to continue with Blake's case.
I thought you said she wasn't going to have an attorney. That was the point in doing this dagblame video. What? Miss Kitey, come on now. This is getting absolutely ridiculous.
For now. But the shakeup at the law firm is.
And just so you know, if you want to just check it out, she's got products listed in her information to where you can go and pay for them, buy something, and give her a commission off of it. I don't know that she has any kind of paid promotion, like what she indicated in the last one. I think it's more along the lines of she's setting things up to where her viewers, her audience, her people, her besties, whatever you want to call them, I'm pretty sure she's just setting them up to buy a bunch of crap.
Just one of 7 partners, high profile ones at that have left Wilkie, Farr, and Gallagher since they agreed to a settlement with Trump.
See, here we go. That's all I had to start listening to, because we know how she is about Trump now, don't we?
After Trump issued an executive order against various law firms who had attorneys who have investigated Donald.
Who? Miss Kitey, you are not even solid in the things that you try to report on. I talk more plainly than you, and my ADD runs wild, bing, bang, boom, all the time.
Trump, or who are involved in challenges to his policies, which he viewed as enemies to his administration. He created all of these executive orders trying to restrict.
What does Trump have to do with this video? Come on now, you know that you're not supposed to be talking politics on your dagblame channel. Every time you do, you get in trouble.
Their business with the federal government. And some of these firms ended up settling with him and giving X amount of dollars to him. And Wilkie, Farr, and Gallagher, who's one of their partners is Doug Emhoff, which is.
Are you going to be mad at these people for settling with Trump? Is that the thing? You going to be mad? All right, I'm ready for it.
Kamala Harris's husband. They agreed to $100 million in free legal services to agreed upon projects with Trump, and that they would not engage in illegal diversity-related employment practices. And apparently, when that happened, there was an internal memo.
Miss Kitey, get on with the subject at hand. I want to know when they're going to quit Blake's case. Or is this just another clickbait thing from you? We're going to talk for a minute, and then we're going to talk about something completely different. Why in the crap the people over there are handling this as they are and saying you are so good in reporting? I do not know. I get frustrated by clickbait.
That was said. This is all from Reuters. It says, "We know this news is not welcome to some of you, and you would have urged a different course of action."
You can't even read a sentence all the way through. You get tongue-tied. People trust you reading documents.
And needless to say, this was an incredibly difficult decision for firm leadership. And they agreed to the payout basically because they said they wouldn't have been able to stay in business. Now, interestingly, since this settlement, there has been multiple firms that
This has nothing to do with Blake. This has to do with Trump. And right now, I see Joe Biden on here. Miss Katie, I hope people that don't like you talking about politics, I hope they're watching this video.
have sued the administration for these executive orders, and at least 4 judges have deemed the executive orders unconstitutional.
Was it Judge Lehman? Because we know how much you don't like him now, don't we? You say he don't know how to make smart choices, right? Okay, everything in here is my opinion and for entertainment purposes and only entertainment purposes, and I'm just having a little bit of fun on YouTube. But I remember her not liking him.
So Merrill happened to be one of the dissenters that decided to leave over this decision, and then she joined a group of attorneys that left another major law firm that is Paul Weiss.
So this is about the attorney and Trump and not actually about Blake. Okay.
And Skadden and Arps. That firm actually was instrumental in the prosecution of Trump in Manhattan.
Leave Trump off of your channel. It's politics. One way or another, it's politics.
Related to those business fraud charges. So a bunch of partners from Paul Weiss, at least 4, branched off in May, and they went to start their own firm. And Merrill has gone and left with them. And so 7 total people that are at least high-profile partners at Gottlieb's firm. He's on the executive board for.
What do we need to know all this information for? We don't need to know all this information, Miss Katie. And from now on, I think I need to do you on 2 times speed because let me tell you something. Your voice is getting downright annoying.
Kiefer and Gallagher, they have left because they don't agree with this $100 million that they paid Trump. So I'm not trying to be political here.
You are being political here. 100% you are.
Just sharing what actually happened, what's been going on behind the scenes.
And you like to get over on Insta and tell everybody that you are a Democrat, not a Republican. And they better not accuse you of being a Republican. And to me, that's politics.
And ultimately, she is staying on the case for now, but I don't know if she could pull.
How do you not know when you put it on here that Blake is no longer going to have an attorney? How do you not know? This is what's frustrating.
Her she could be pulled at any time because now she has attorneys from at least 3 different firms representing her at this point. And the boutique lawsuit that Gavrnsky is going.
Come on, spit it out.
Was formed in May. So it's a brand new firm and she'll be a partner there. I know there had been rumblings on the internet that she had quit or she would quit the case and it was like she was quitting this case. But it sounds like the issues that were happening were not related to the Blake case, but rather to what her disagreements with what the firm was doing.
So it's the firm's fault, right? It's Trump's fault, right? All of this is Trump's fault. They would have been able to stay at the law office they were at if Trump wouldn't have gotten involved, right?
Of course, she didn't
Yes, I'm saying right, because that's what Miss Katie does.
Respond to a comment about leaving the firm, but Gottlieb did tell Reuters today that, he hopes that he can still collaborate with her in the future. She has been.
Sounds like she's a good attorney. Do you think maybe Blake got a good one and she didn't get bottom of the barrel?
A pretty instrumental partner to Gottlieb for years. She's led huge defamation cases with him. So the fact that she's leaving is a pretty significant thing to him. And given that her background she was a journalist before she became a lawyer.
Ooh, Miss Katie, you were a journalist, and now then you're sounding more and more like an attorney every day if you pay attention to your comments.
Now that she's left and she's with a new firm, I'll wonder how involved she's going to be in all of this. If her departure from the firm is any indication to what they filed in court yesterday to try to prove jurisdiction, it makes me wonder how much Gottlieb has been relying on her.
Okay, so this is all of your thoughts. That's what this video is about. Your thoughts thus far.
It's just, hear me out here, because
I'm not hearing you out on anything. I'm just making comments about what you're saying.
Gottlieb filed this 2-page letter to try to prove that Jed Wallace has ties to New York, and their arguments are nonsensical. I asked attorneys.
You and asking all these daggum attorneys. Why don't you just go get your law degree and then you ain't got to worry about it? You would save you a little bit money in your cases, right?
About it, and they all said it's nonsense, and it likely won't pass the muster test. But because the judge asked them to.
Has anybody gone over to Emily D. Baker on this and been listening to Emily D. Baker? I'm just wondering, because I don't know if her audience even knows about Emily. They should know about Emily, so if you're a hater over here listening to me, go check out Emily D. Baker, a real attorney.
Do 2-page letter where they address what actions that occurred within this conspiracy could actually be tied to New York and Jed's connection to New York. Because Jed has said in his declaration.
Oh, hey, I want to mention something to y'all real fast. Miss Katie did make a post telling everybody that she didn't want to hear anything about what any other creator is saying about her. She was not online for that. And if I get a chance to, I'm going to post it in my community section. So if y'all haven't joined it yet, go ahead and join it. And then, my different kinds of audiences, you can, mingle together and have a little bit of fun. I'll be there. But anyways, I will try to get a picture of that for you.
Wallace, that he believed he was working with Wayfair, a California company, and working with Tag, a California company, and that most of his communications were with Melissa Nathan, who was a California resident, and that he was never.
Are we still talking about Blake not having an attorney? Are we still talking about that, Miss Katie?
In New York, and she can't even name a single action that he did that targeted New York. And so her firm is trying to use a harebrained, long stretching the arm. This is a stretch to argue because they had to come up.
A lawyer is harebrained. We have the best reporter ever that we get to listen to now, don't we?
Up with something. But they said the amended complaint identifies numerous specific co-conspirators who committed overt acts in the furtherance of the defendant's conspiracy.
Hi, Miss Katie, I challenge you to do something, okay? I challenge you not to read all this. I challenge you to tell us in a brief little glimpse of it what it all means. Then you'll prove that you actually understand these words and that you're able to communicate these to your audience. And that's what I challenge you with on this, because sometimes what you're reading and what you're thinking don't sound like the same thing.
While physically located in New York. As just a few examples, the amended complaint alleges that the defendants Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfair heard from Miss Lively in person in New York about the very complaints that prompted their retaliation campaign. Jed was not on the team when that happened.
What's so funny, Miss Katie? I want to know what's funny. I need to be let in on this little joke that you have and what your sense of humor decided to come out on, because it's the most unopportune times when you decide to giggle.
And by the way, he was not there, so that's not going to work. Then they say that Melissa Nathan lived and conducted business in New York during a portion of the relevant period. That still doesn't prove that Jed was doing anything.
You can hear she's smiling from ear to ear. You can hear it. She really needs to get back on camera, and she needs to show people the real side of her.
And then Steve Sarowitz announced the conspiracy plan to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family at the film's New York premiere. Jed was not hired until August 8th or 9th. The film premiere in New York was August 6th.
So you're saying all of this is pointless, right? That's what you're saying? You're saying that you know everything about this lawsuit. You know what should be filed, what shouldn't be filed, what's there, what shouldn't be there, what's admitted, what's not admitted. You know this case inside and out now, don't you, Miss Katie? That's a lot of hours of staying awake.
So everything that she is literally using to prove that he's connected is before he was even hired. The amended complaint also alleges that Nathan furthered the conspiracy by communicating with and causing content to be provided to journalists, content creators, and
I can't stand when she does that. Oh, and by the way, I already did a video about her and content creators and her not getting a subpoena and her not being happy that she wasn't mentioned in getting a subpoena or mentioned in a headline. So if y'all skip that video, you can head over there.
media entities in New York, including at least one journalist in New York and another at the New York Times, one of whom was Nathan's sister. Given that Nathan lived in New York during a portion of the relevant period, it's reasonable to infer that Nathan conducted much of that activity, each instance of which would constitute an overt act while physically present.
Hey, if you're going to read paperwork like that, let me give you a suggestion. Get one of those little apps or whatever you can to where when you're talking, there's a little yellow line that follows along with you so everybody can see what you're saying, because you like to leave out numbers, names. You like to leave out all kinds of stuff. You like to paraphrase with almost every single word in there, though.
In New York, this isn't going to work. Because even if she says what this is, she hasn't identified what actually was done that was harmful to her.
You know what? You are always the victim, Miss Katie. So, you should know that you can't admit anything that, you do harmful to others.
And it doesn't tie Jed to any of it, just that Nathan might have been in New York. Not him, but Nathan. He's not Nathan. Those New York contacts are easily attributed to the Wallace defendants for purpose of a motion to dismiss stage personal jurisdiction analysis. No, it's not.
Okay, she's laughing again. Tell me when she laughs during Brown content. Tell me when she laughs. Tell me when she laughs about Duggar content, especially Josh. Tell me when she laughs. You can feel or hear her laughing. Tell me when that happens.
The amended complaint alleges that Nathan and Tag had a relationship with Mr. Wallace that preceded this litigation, and that Miss Nathan worked with Mr. Wallace on a previous matter, and Tag retained him to work with them on behalf of the defendants, Wayfair and Mr. Baldoni.
Let me go back to the subpoena page, okay? Just for a second. My mind wanders and it's bing bang bong, and y'all know that. Y'all have known it forever. But I was online and this little Reddit post pops up about the subpoenas and all that. And Reddit was saying, Emily D. Baker, is this true? Emily, is this a fake? Emily, and asking Emily all these questions. And one person, if I'm not mistaken, decided to ask Emily underneath the Without a Crystal Ball Reddit. You know she don't like that name. She don't like seeing it. She don't like hearing it. She don't like none of it.
This is hysterical. If this is the best that Michael Gottlieb can do it.
What's hysterical is you not communicating with Emily. Why don't you communicate with Emily? She's an actual attorney. Why don't you, tell your people to go watch other people? You don't do that anymore, do you, Miss Katie? You want to be their only content provider.
It's really bad. So basically what they're trying to argue is that Jed Wallace had partnered with Melissa in the past on something completely unrelated with Melissa, and that Melissa might have a house that she stays in New York. And so therefore, even before anything happened with Blake,
you are an absolutely sad person. I mean, your videos will take you about 30 minutes to make. Sometimes they have information in them, sometimes they don't. But I think you just pick a couple of pages and you decide you're going to talk on it, and you're going to get yourself some bing bing in your pocket. The reason why I say that is because at the end or any time in this video, you can go down to the left-hand corner of her video and look at all the new cosmetics that she's got put up there for people. They just keep costing more and more. That's what she's doing.
Wallace and Nathan were tied to New York together. That doesn't even make sense. You're trying to prosecute him for something he did before he even knew who you were. She's basically trying to say because he knew Nathan, this is the whole roundabout, because he knew Nathan, and because Nathan...
Hey, can we all laugh at your lawsuit? Are we able to do that, Miss Katie? Can we? Because that's what we do, and you get offended and you get all bottom hurt and everything. So, how is this fair? What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
is in New York sometimes, and because Steve Sarowitz said something at the premiere, and because Baldoni learned about the allegations in New York, that's how Jed is tied to New York.
You hear how fast she's talking right now? She's doing that because she actually has a complete thought in her mind. But whenever she starts slowing down and stuttering, stepping over them words, she ain't got a complete thought. She's looking off in la la land trying to find her next word.
It is reasonable to infer that Wallace knew that Nathan resided in New York. His declaration flat out says that he conducted business with California companies and Melissa Nathan, who he believed to be a California resident. At all times, he said in his declaration, he believed that he was dealing with a California based company. This is sufficient to attribute to Nathan and Tagg's New York based acts to the Wallace defendants.
Could y'all imagine being on her Insta and being on her TikTok and being on her YouTube and trying to keep up with everything? This woman posts so daggum much. I had to quit taking screenshots because it's filling up my gallery. It's that bad.
Under the New York and federal law, broad approach to agency. Its alarm arch statute contacts to co-conspirators when the defendant had an awareness of the effects in New York activity. The activity of the co-conspirators in New York was to benefit the out-of-state conspirators. And
if you want to get a peekaboo at what she's going to post on her YouTube, yeah, she gives it all away over there on Insta, but she knows a lot of people from YouTube ain't on Insta, and Insta ain't on YouTube. So she's just double covering, and then she waits, and if she makes a mistake on Insta, then she knows not to make the same mistake on YouTube. So she'll come back and she'll say, well, she won't say I'm sorry, but she'll say something like I had the wrong information or this was told to me wrong. She won't take accountability for reporting, in quotation marks, but reporting incorrect information.
The co-conspirators acting in New York acted at the direction or under the control or at the request of or on behalf of the out-of-state defendant. He wasn't the one calling the shots. This is really, it's not going to work. I don't think, because he can answer.
You don't think? You have been steadfast in saying this the entire time, but now you don't think?
Easily here. She also claims that defendants knew that their co-conspirators included New York-based individuals and entities who were taking steps in New York to retaliate against Miss Lively and portray her in a false light, and that the Wallace defendants were paid for it.
You know what's bad? Is I've been following Miss Katie on these little things, and I've edited them down, and I've done this and I've done that, and half the time I don't even know what the crap she's talking about. She will sit here and go off on a little tangent, kind of like I do. Sorry guys, my bad. Hey, welcome to Janet being Janet. This is me. But still, she confuses me.
Third requirement is that they are basing it on co-conspirators at the direction under the control of the out-of-state defendant may be satisfied by an allegation that the out-of-state defendant was aware of the torts being.
You are never going to be satisfied with the information you can get. You always want more and more and more dirt. And you will dig with the backhoe till you find it.
Being committed by co-conspirators. So she can't say that Jed was directing any of it. She can only say that he knew it was happening.
Let me tell you something. Somebody can say whatever they want to say because the words come out of their mouth. It doesn't mean they're right, though, Miss Katie. So don't you tell people they can't say something. We don't tell you you can't say something, and it gets you in a lot of trouble now, don't it?
This is super flimsy. So flimsy. They're also arguing that conspiracy jurisdiction is something that's going to work and it's going to overcome long arm statute, which is of their own individual activities.
Hey, explain that. Explain what it means. Come on, ma'am, give me some explanations. I need this. I need it dumbed down.
They say that Wallace nowhere challenged the sufficiency of other co-conspirators' jurisdictional contacts under any provision of the New York long arm statute. In any event, the co-conspirators had extensive suit-related contacts with New York that must be attributed to the Wallace defense.
Do you still believe that all of the anti-KJs are working for Robert Shin? Do you still believe that? Because you want to tell everybody else that that's what's happening. Anybody talking against you are just working with Shin. But when you're accused of working with a sham campaign and things like that, a smear campaign, you don't like it. Now, do you?
Mm-hmm. And that by joining the
Mm-hmm. See, she's just getting better and better at this now, isn't she? She's learning how to draw things out for as long as possible. This is a 30-minute video for her, and it's going to be longer than that for me because I'm going to mouth her all the way through it. And I understand if you're not here for it.
conspiracy, he knew that they were furthering their acts to be taken place in New York. But then this is the hilarious part.
Nothing you say is hilarious. You don't have a funny bone in your body. If you laugh, it's because you think you found something or you got something you can throw at the wall and hope it sticks.
They're paranoid that this isn't going to work because any defects as to the allegations of personal jurisdiction with respect to the Wallace parties would be curable by amendment.
Are you paranoid about your trial yet? You said you weren't worried about it and you're ready for it, so are you paranoid or are you just going to keep filing papers kind of like what Blake's doing? Just try to get yourself out of it in any way possible and come out on the winning side. You're doing the same thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Based upon materials obtained in discovery, including from Mr. Wallace. Those additional allegations.
You have a problem with discovery and you go ahead and invoice it to everyone.
Could relate to the nature and timing of his retention information shared with Wallace and the nature and timing of the co-conspirators' activities in New York. So what they're telling the judge is they're paranoid this is going to get dismissed. And
I don't think they're paranoid about dismissal as much as you are paranoid that you want this thing dismissed. And let me go ahead and clear something up for you. Yeah, this is a lot of Janet talking, but that's how I feel today. So, yeah, I read this stuff, but I'm not going to bring it to you because of or her stuff. I'm not going to bring it to you. One, because I wasn't here from the beginning, and two, I'm not an attorney and I ain't gonna pretend like I know half of what's being said. I'm even telling you I don't know what Miss Kitey's saying.
And they're willing to amend their lawsuit because of it. Y'all, it's about to get real. So
hold up. Wait a minute. Who you been listening to? Who you been listening to? Why are you saying y'all? Why are you saying that? You used to only say it when you were listening to Emily, and yeah, then sometimes I think you listen to me, but you don't follow through with half the things I tell you to.
Blake's case and her claims are kind of all over the place. There's so many of them. And just to give you an understanding, right now, she has Wallace tied to aiding and abetting harassment and retaliation. And Wallace is central to this claim, which means that he was a part of discriminatory conduct directed at Lively, and they coordinated an AstroTurf.
And if you can't tell, I'm trying to keep you a little bit interested in this dagblame video, so y'all can always scroll through what I'm saying if you just want to hear what she's saying.
Surfing campaign to discredit and bury her. Okay, so if he's removed, this claim becomes harder to prove because he's not a part of the case anymore. And then the discovery gets limited, right? And if she...
Right? Are you checking with us again? Because me, I ain't paying no daggum attention to you. I'm just going to call you out for all the things you do besides right here.
Wants to try the case. For that, she has to go to Texas. And in Texas, you know, he's got a lawsuit against her. And then the other one that he could be out of would be false light invasion of privacy. And this is related to...
Say what the meanings of those are, Miss Katie. Think if you have a new sub or a new listener coming in that don't know all about this, why don't you say something they understand? Because once again, I don't think you understand.
What she claims are Street and Wallace publicly disclosing, along with the other defendants, information or material regarding her marketing decisions.
You remember when people were asking us about you and for the 7M case that you do not like talking about, and if somebody asks you, you get offended.
Her moral character, her private life and family, which showed her in a false light. Which, by the way, the
By the way, why don't you quit coming on here complaining about your home life and getting people to donate money to you about your home life? You've always kept it quiet, right? Until you started getting a bigger audience. Now you got more subscribers, and you're going on there giving your stories that happen at home so people will give you more money. See, at some point in time, you got to question who you are.
whole crux of this entire lawsuit is that she's mad that people criticize the way that she marketed the film. She doesn't like that she got that backlash. And she also
You don't like that you're getting the backlash you are, and there's a lot of creators that won't cover you anymore, and I know exactly why they won't cover you and exactly why they have to be careful when it comes to you.
doesn't like that people on the internet shared videos of her own words, making comments to people that people thought were rude.
I can make a video of sharing your own words, and you will find a way to say I didn't say that. And that's just absolutely amazing to me.
Or they reposted her interview clips where she was rude to journalists or snarky to fans or flippant or didn't take
Your comments can't even notice when you're being snarky with them and downright rude, mean, and hateful. They just think you're playing around with them or something. They don't know that's the real Miss Katie.
the situation seriously. None of that is, detailing anything about her private life or her moral character. I didn't see a single article about anything to do with her morals.
And I haven't seen a single article with them putting you in the headlines like they did with Candace, huh? You did not like that. Goodness gracious, your booty hole got so daggum tight you were that mad.
Or her family. And that she claims, and this is a flimsy one to begin with, right? Because you have to believe then that the internet didn't just do the internet thing and do what the internet does, and they find a million clips that prove that this person's a horrible person.
But aren't you trying to you're trying to get people to acknowledge all the clips that you find and the articles that you find and the hidden lawsuits. You want everybody to credit you.
That's what happens when someone gets canceled. So if he's gone from that,
we tried to cancel you all the time, but you managed to come back up somehow, and this time you really came back up.
She says that this claim is the one that constituted a serious invasion of her right to privacy, and it was an egregious breach of social norms. And they alleged conduct above with oppression, fraud, and malice. So that claim is the malice side of it. So if he's gone from that, this is where all of those videos that she claims were seeded by them, the case will fall apart.
You don't like any videos that we do against you, because then your facade would fall apart.
And then if he's removed from the civil conspiracy, you're removing the person that you claim is the one that seeded and planted all of these videos and these negative comments that you claim.
You get negative comments and you will erase them because you think it makes your channel, your video, your Insta, whatever it is, a more positive place to be. Here's where you mess up, and y'all have already clicked off, so I'm going to keep talking the way I am. Here's where you mess up, is you will post a video, comment just a little bit, and then you won't pay attention. So if you wait a couple of hours after you post that video, bam, you got all them negative comments still there because you can't monitor everything.
Were done by a digital army that you believe that Wallace put out on the internet against you. And so he's central to the civil conspiracy because she believes all of the social media outrage was not organic and that it was planted and it was bots or it was.
Yeah, we're bots. Most people think you buy a lot of your subscribers. People think, like you, that all of these anti KJ people are bots. We don't exist.
Was, people working in Hawaii, or it was, Wayfair paying creators to talk about her. So if the civil conspiracy relies heavily on Wallace, then that conspiracy alone with the remaining defendants becomes harder to prove.
Now, y'all remember this entire video is about Blake not having an attorney. Y'all remember this.
And the risk here then is that if Wallace is dismissed, she will have to reconsider what she's going to do. And so this gets me back to, why is she now focusing on content creators? My theory here is this.
Ooh, are we going to get into why you aren't concentrated on? Come on, Miss Katie, I'm ready for this one.
I believe that Blake knows that there was no untraceable smear campaign. I believe she knows that Jed Wallace didn't do anything. I fully believe that the reason that she's now targeting content creators is because it's her new theory. So she's preparing for Jed to get.
All you want is your name in the headlines, and you ain't made it there yet. So come on, Miss Katie, keep posting this clickbait.
Tossed, or her attorneys are. And so now the new theory is, and it must be, that Brian Friedman or his team paid content creators like Candace Owens and
you already said they can't say anything about paying content creators because nobody's paid you.
Perez Hilton and Andy to make not pro Blake content, that they were fed information to make for their videos, that they were somehow paid.
But aren't you constantly saying you talked to somebody who talked to somebody, or somebody was in your comments and you were in somebody else's comments? Aren't you constantly saying things like that?
To do this on behalf of Wayfair. So she can't claim and prove the untraceable smear campaign. She can't.
Hey, where's the Justin videos? We need some Justin videos. Leave Blake alone for a little bit and just go after what you see so great in Justin. I don't care about this case. Y'all know this.
Can't. And even by this letter to the judge, she's saying she doesn't have proof that he did anything in New York. I mean, it all but says that he did nothing in New York, and she.
And we do nothing wrong, but you'll do anything to silence us.
Can't think of a single thing that he did in New York, only that Melissa might have been in New York when they were talking. And the bigger issue here for me.
Oh, goodness gracious, finally get to it. I'm telling you, you want to know what Miss Katie is normally thinking? Go all the way to the end of her daggame video.
Me, is that as much as people like Brian Friedman and they love his firm,
You used to love Brian Friedman. You would laugh at him and everything else, but now things have changed.
I think there's been mistakes here when it comes to how they decided not to do a motion to dismiss against her claims. He has done motions to dismiss with other high-profile people like.
Yeah, attorneys, why aren't you listening to Miss Katie? She knows what to do. Dadgummit, how dare you ignore her on multiple levels.
Like Vin Diesel, when he was accused by someone that used to work for him of sexual harassment, and he did it under the grounds related to how the CRD complaint was filed.
Just so you know, when she says the SH word, and anytime I'm dinged, I don't say jack diddly squat about it, because I'm not on here for that.
And there was this window of time because it was time barred. The problem with Blake is that her sexual harassment claims are barred by the federal government.
See, here we go again. She says so many words that she used to not say, and now then they just roll off her tongue like butter.
You have a year from the time that the incident happens to file a lawsuit, and she didn't. So she can't sue for that. And there's issues with how she filed the CRD complaint and what she included for the CRD complaint as far as some of the allegations she made.
You know what? You made allegations when 7M was wanting information, clips of content, all these other things. You made your own allegations now, didn't you?
About whether or not she even had a right to sue for those specific causes.
You don't think 7M has a right to sue you, but it's gone this long, this far now, hasn't it?
She, to me, brought a frivolous lawsuit to the court.
And if I'm not mistaken, you say the same about 7M.
And what happened was they didn't file a motion to dismiss. And they should have. They should have filed one for.
You need to file motions to dismiss because that's a favorite thing of Miss Katie to do. She's like, get me out of this, get me out of this, get me out of this.
The issues related to the federal not getting a letter from the EEOC. They should have related to issues with the CRD complaint. They should have related to the time barred issues with the sexual harassment claims.
They should have done everything like contact Miss Katie first, and Miss Katie would tell them what they need to do and not do.
There's even issues on whether or not retaliation that happens, a year later, even remotely is grounds for being retaliation. There's time limits for retaliation.
Yeah, you like to retaliate against people, but like I said, I'm going to keep my mouth shut, but you're also the one that says you don't care if anybody talks about you or not. You understand you're a public figure. But you know what? You lied about that one, didn't you, Miss Katie? I got the strike to prove it.
And part of the reason why everything is not going to go well for her in her case is that she and her.
And just in case you don't know, Miss Katie, I'm turning this around and making you understand, not making you understand, because you're never going to understand. Most of the time you're talking about somebody, you're talking about yourself. So you need to step back, look in a mirror and say, ah, crap, I'm caught.
Own complaint says that they addressed the issues when she brought them to them. And then there were no other issues on the set.
Hey, I'm bringing issues to you. Are you going to pay attention to them and say, you know what, maybe I do have a problem? No, you're just going to be mad at me for giving my opinion.
Everything filmed as normal. And it was fine after she signed the 17-point agreement. So she's like suing for something she said they resolved, which doesn't make sense. And then she's trying to claim that after they resolved everything, then they decided to retaliate a year later.
I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to post this daggum thing because people said long form content, and yeah, this is getting really long. I can see my subs just going down and out the door.
Or 9 months later. That's just not how retaliation works. So what I view this as a window, because say the judge is like, okay, yeah.
All you do is look out of your daggum window because you don't leave your house now, do you? You've told us that many times.
I'm going to allow you leave to amend. And then Blake has to amend the complaint, which means her entire complaint as is amended for all parties, all of them, not just.
Did you catch the little snicker and laugh there? Did you catch that one? Don't worry, I'll point them out.
Wallace, but all of them, which then opens the door that Justin and Wayfair and Sarowitz and Nathan and Abel can all then file motions to dismiss. So what's really happening here is her case is on the verge of.
Y'all don't have to like me, but is she starting to sound more and more like an attorney and giving advice? Do y'all hear that, or is it just me? Yeah, I've been watching way too much Miss Katie.
Falling apart. And they know it. So now they have to go after the content creators because they know, in my opinion.
But they're not going for you now, are they? That chaps your behind so much. That's why you're bringing it up again.
Opinion that their case against Jed is very flimsy. They're admitting they have no evidence against him in that letter. They have no ties of Jed to New York. They can't even name a single action he took, a concrete action, that is.
Hey, can you name anything good that you have done, positive that you have done on your channel? Anything positive you've talked about people? Can you do that? Because I once asked your other half about it, and he said that you are a good person. Yeah.
That would have done any of the things that she claims happened to her, like a false light, aiding, abetting, all of that. None of it at this point proves any of her claims. So Gottlieb is really, grasping at straws. And quite honestly, I would love to see
I think you're grasping at straws when it comes to this 7M case. From what I hear,
them do a motion or have him grant the motion to dismiss and then give her leave to amend and have her and then give Wayfair the opportunity to then file their own motions to dismiss because
in other words, just file motions to dismiss. Don't try to fight it, just dismiss it.
they'll have way more grounds at that point because then she's really barred from the EEOC at that point. She had 30 days to go to the EEOC and she did not. So they'll know for a fact that she didn't go there. They can have those claims.
Do y'all know she has whined so much about her lawsuit and how she's been doing wrong? She's got so many more people on her side. Like when this entire thing started, she didn't have that many people that would speak up for her, but now she does. Maybe that's why she's not scared.
Dismissed right off the bat, time barred. They can fight every single one of them and have them all dismissed. Honestly, her case is very flimsy. We'll have to see how this goes.
What are you going to do when this case just flies off and is done? What are you going to do, Miss Katie? You're going to have to find something else to get your claws into.
But yeah, I'm getting the sense that if Jed is dismissed, the whole case will fall apart. And then if they amend, it'll just allow everyone else to file motions to dismiss, which would be wonderful. And I know some people are like, Justin needs to be vindicated. No, really, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Miss Katie, you're the one that's going to argue with your comment section as much as you possibly can. You want to prove them wrong, which is just amazing to me. Game it, Miss Katie.
Doesn't need to be vindicated because a dismissal is a dismissal is a dismissal. And if she didn't state a claim.
But if something gets dismissed for you, you won. You're the one that did it all. You know that. You say even if there's a settlement, you won.
It should be that she didn't state a claim. As much as we don't like that Justin's case was dismissed, we don't know if they're going to appeal. We hope that they do. Blake's case should have been dismissed. It was a frivolous lawsuit from day one.
So are you going after the judge again? Is that what you're going to do? Come on, I'm ready for that video too.
And he doesn't need to vindicate himself and go to trial to vindicate himself. The court of public opinion has already spoken. And
unfortunately, the public opinion on you right now on your channel is extremely high.
Said he's not guilty. So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below.
I've already let you know my thoughts. I do all the time. And this one, I got a little carried away. Sorry.
Oh, make sure to give this video a thumbs up.
And I don't care if y'all do thumbs up, thumbs down. You know it. I'm just here to have a little bit of fun and hopefully entertain you.
Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you.
And I understand that I've had a lot of unsubs here lately because they don't like the way I'm doing this.
If you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks.
And y'all, click the bell if you want to. Unclick the bell, it's up to you. I'm not trying to sound cold-hearted. I'm just having one of these days to where I'm mouthing Miss Katie, and I can see through my analytics people ain't liking it. And for those that do watch, thank you so very much. You know where my heart is, and you know I'm going to be there for you anytime I can when you make a request. Alright guys, like I said, this went a little deeper and harder than what I thought, but dadgummit, it's Miss Katie.
So much for watching. Bye, besties.
Bye, besties. Yeah, besties, not guys. But alright, I hope you have a good day, night, weekend, holiday, year, whenever you might be watching this. And remember to smile today or make somebody else smile, 'cause it really can make a difference. Yeah, I'm smiling. Y'all don't think that I'm not smiling and having just a good old time, 'cause I am. I enjoy being able to point out any kind of flaws I can with Miss Katie. But alright guys, y'all make sure you have a good one for me. Bye.